This image really grinds my gears. The original idea is that if you give a user just a wheel and then ask them what they like or dislike, there's nothing. They can't test it. They can't use it. If you give them two wheels and then ask them what they like and dislike, again, they can't test it. They can't use it. If you put a body on top of the two wheels, again, there's no wheel, there's no engine, they still can't use it. And in the end, you give them a car and you ask them what they like and dislike, and they seem okay with it. They can do with it what they need to. So, this is what happens if you eventually build something that users like, which isn't always the case with waterfall development, but still it's like a bad way of working. So instead, you give the user a skateboard first. And then you ask what they like and dislike. They can't do much, but they can do a little bit. And then you give them a little bit of improvement. And again, you try things out. And then again, a little bit more improvement. And you find out like, oh, they like the wind in their hair. Like you kind of hear feedback on what they like and dislike. Great. And you edit a little bit more. And again, you add a little bit more. And you end up at an end solution that the user is really, really happy with. And so because of iteration, we arrive at a better end solution. So the original solution was like this car, right? But the better end solution with iteration was a slightly different car. Like the end result is different and the user likes it a lot more. That's the idea. So like this is essentially a bad car and this is a good car. This was originally created by Hendrik Nieberg. And it's great. Like it makes sense. This is the idea of the minimum viable product, the MVP, where basically you learn what the product is as you build it. Your MVP should be small. Don't build the whole product in one go. And please iterate. And this is great. This is all lovely. This is nice. But, and this is a really big but, this does not work for replacement software. As an example, you have an old tool somewhere internally maybe, right? And it's like, it works, but it needs to be replaced. Like it's got that old like 80s UI on it, and like it's just not that great to use. It does work. Everyone does use it. It's a little bit like this rusty car, right? You can drive it. It works, but the amount of maintenance it requires, and it constantly keeps breaking down, and it makes a lot of weird noises. It works, but you need to replace it. So what happens a lot of the time here is that a dev goes, here's a scooter first. Yay! And there's a scooter. And then the scooter's given to the customer, and the customer goes, no, this scooter sucks. And then production goes, no, just give it a shot. Like we're doing agile, iterative development. Just try this out. And the customer goes, I literally can't do my job with this. So why does the scooter suck? Well, the scooter features are that it can move you from A to B, runs on electricity, there's no physical effort, and it fits a person. Great. Why is the old beat-up, rusty car better? Well, the car features are that you can move it from A to B, runs on gas, there's no physical effort, fits multiple people, and it's much faster. It can also carry a load up a hill, which might be like the base use case that users need. So if you compare them, the scooter features and then the car features, the overlap is very little. So that scooter cannot achieve what the car does. So what the car was built to do cannot be done with a scooter. And that's the really, really critical part to understand here. It cannot be done with a scooter, which means this is not your MVP. Don't build it. It's bad. So I see a lot of companies kind of going like, yay, we're doing agile production. We're using this image, the famous one. Great. And the idea behind it is fantastic. But don't follow this blindly. Don't follow this image so blindly. Instead, if you already have a car and then you need to like iterate on it more, do that. Like replace it. Build a replacement. Like that old rusty car might be bad and we want to replace it, but it does do what users need to do at the moment. So the first MVP we got to build is just a modern car, a normal, regular, modern car. We got to build it. It's a lot of effort. Yes, we can also iterate on that car. We can change bits and pieces on it. We can exchange these rusty pieces for newer pieces. We can iterate on that car. And then from there, we can go even further, right? We can be like, they need bigger wheels, we find out. And, we find out that the users actually want like a big battery in it so they can like charge their things as they go to places. And it turns out the users also really kind of want a tent on top of this thing. So it's like, So what the users really need now is like a big SUV with like a tent on it. Great. But you still find it out. Like we still follow that agile process of trying things out and iterating on it. But we've done it by not starting with a scooter. You don't always start with a scooter. So instead, you look at the base features of the current thing you have, and then you build an MVP that does the things that already does and iterate from there. Please stop blindly building scooters every time. It doesn't work. So when it comes to this image of like the skateboard to the car, the takeaways really here are MVPs are more complicated when building replacements to existing software. Do not follow the skateboard to car MVP model blindly, and iterate on the current needs of the user. Like, look at what they are currently doing and iterate from there. Don't give them the super duper minimal version that doesn't do what they need to do on a daily basis. Thank you very much.